There is a man in his late 60s who drives a truck that was built before some of his grandchildren were born. The paint has faded in places. The rear bumper has a dent that has been there since 2003, and he has never once thought about fixing it. Every morning, he starts that engine, and he does not wince at the sound it makes. He listens to it the way you listen to an old friend's voice, checking in, making sure everything is still there. His son offered to buy him a new one last Christmas. He said no, without hesitation. That truck is not transportation. It never was. Psychologists use a concept called continuity of self, the psychological thread that connects who you are today to who you have always been. It is not just memory. It is something more physical than that. It is the feeling that the person who made decisions 20, 30, 40 years ago is the same person sitting in this room right now. And here is what researchers have found. Objects carry that thread. Not just any objects. Objects that were present during the significant chapters. Objects that were chosen deliberately during a time when you were still becoming who you were going to be. That truck was bought in a specific year, for a specific reason. Maybe it was the first big purchase made alone. Maybe it was bought to haul something. A business, a family, a future that was just beginning to take shape. For many men of that generation, the truck is a physical anchor to a version of themselves they are not willing to let go. Every time they turn that key, they are not just starting an engine, they are confirming something. I am still that person. That person still exists. There is a second psychological layer here, and this one runs even deeper. Psychologists call it internal locus of control, the belief that you are the one steering your own life. That outcomes are the result of your choices, your effort, your competence. Not luck, not someone else's decisions, yours. Research consistently shows that people with a strong internal locus of control report higher life satisfaction, better mental health outcomes, and, critically, they age better. Now consider this. The generation we are talking about grew up in a different mechanical world. These were men who changed their own oil, who rebuilt carburetors on a Saturday afternoon, who knew that if something broke, they were going to fix it. Not call someone, not download an update. Fix it. That old truck is not just a truck. It is one of the last remaining domains where that mastery still fully applies. Modern vehicles are computers on wheels, sealed systems. You cannot get under the hood and understand them the same way. But that 1994 truck? That truck makes sense. It responds. It rewards competence. Letting go of it would not just mean losing a vehicle. It would mean surrendering one of the last places where they are fully in control. If you have been watching this and thinking about someone you know, or maybe even yourself, that is exactly why this channel exists. We go deeper than the surface every single time. Subscribe to Driven Psyche. You will not regret it. There is a man named Gerald from a small town in central Ohio. Gerald bought his truck in 1997. It is a Ford F-150, dark green, long bed. At the time, he had just started his own landscaping company. He loaded that truck with equipment every morning at 5 a.m. and drove it until dark. The business eventually grew. Gerald hired people, bought other vehicles. The F-150 was no longer the workhorse, but he kept it. His wife asked him why more than once. His answer was always the same. Because it still runs. But that is not really the answer, is it? The truth, and Gerald probably knows this somewhere below the words, is that the truck is the evidence. It is the proof that the man who worked 14-hour days in the summer heat, who built something from nothing, who showed up when no one was watching, that man was real. The truck is the only thing left that was there for all of it. You cannot put that in a dealership trade-in. Here is where it gets interesting. But there is a psychological phenomenon called compensatory nostalgia, and it is not simply missing the past. It is reaching for the past specifically to compensate for something that feels uncertain or uncomfortable in the present. As men move through their 60s and 70s, the world around them changes in ways that can feel fundamentally disorienting. Technology shifts, social structures shift. The skills and knowledge that made them capable, that made them valuable, sometimes feel less relevant. Researchers have found that in moments of psychological threat, people instinctively return to objects, places, and routines that carry symbolic meaning from earlier, more stable periods. The truck becomes a refuge, not in a weak or avoidant sense, in a deeply human sense. It is one of the few constants in a world that has stopped being constant. And there is something worth noting here. The researchers who study this do not frame it as denial. They frame it as resilience strategy. The object tethers the person to a stable identity during a period of significant change. That old truck is not stubbornness. It is an anchor. There is also a darker psychological side to this worth naming. For many men of this generation, accepting help, including the help of a newer, easier vehicle, can feel threatening in a way that is difficult to articulate. To accept the offer of a new truck from a son or daughter is to acknowledge, even subtly, that the old one is no longer enough, that you may no longer be enough. Psychologists who study aging and masculine identity note that the refusal to upgrade is sometimes less about the object itself and more about the narrative it would force. A new truck tells a new story, a story about decline, about transition, about moving from one chapter into the next. The old truck keeps the story from changing. This is not denial, exactly. It is closer to what researchers call narrative self-protection, the quiet, often unconscious effort to preserve a particular version of your own story for as long as possible. And the tragedy, if there is one, is that the very thing meant to hold the story together can sometimes prevent a man from writing the chapters that come next. That truck has over 200,000 miles on it. It has hauled lumber, pulled trailers, carried children who are now adults with children of their own. It has sat through winters and summers and decades of ordinary mornings that somehow, together, became an entire life. The question worth sitting with is not whether it should be replaced. The question is this: what does it mean to honor the life a vehicle witnessed? And when does holding on become the thing that keeps you from fully arriving in the life that is still ahead? That truck earned its miles. So did the man who drove it. The real question is whether both of them still have road left, and whether either one is willing to find out. If this made you think or feel something you did not expect, this channel was built for exactly that. Subscribe to Driven Psyche. Every video goes this deep. We will see you in the next one.